Third down and goal. Fields flings. Back corner. Main Street. He scores!
Well, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in tonight to Monsters of the Madhouse, Chicago Sports Podcast. We appreciate you all. That's what we're here to talk about. We are diehard fans just like everybody else. So thank you, whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're watching on our Facebook page right now, or on Twitter as well. So we have many different ways you guys can check us out. And if you are not on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe on our YouTube page and our channel. And then you guys can go back and check out all of our other shows as well. I'm Matt Cooper down here in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I am joined by my co-host tonight, CB, CB, dude, every time I talk to you, man, yep, you got repping the Bears hat, but you're in a different hotel room.
Yep, different hotel room, different day. I'm at school for the local union, learning what I can so I can make more money.
So, dude, first off, that's awesome because at least you're there and you're right close to it and you're able to get there in the morning. But please tell me they at least got like some type of hookup on like the breakfast. You know how some hotels have like that the continental breakfast or they don't have it? Do they at least have something like that where they take care of you before you go?
At my last hotel, they did, but this one doesn't. But I get more amenities here. I got a full-size fridge, a dishwasher.
Ah, yeah, man.
If I wanted to upgrade to like $100 and some a night, I could have got a hot tub too, but
dude,
I didn't have the funds this time. So
yeah, you got to put that money aside next time, man, because after a long day like that, you gotta take advantage of that. It's crazy too, man. It's because sometimes, like I said, they have the breakfasts, but the coffee always is like hit or miss if you're a coffee drinker.
that's right there.
Oh, nice, man. Yep, you're all set. It's like you're a professional. You know what you're doing.
I've done this a few times. I had to stay in the hotel for about 3/4 of the year last year, so I know the ins and outs kind of pretty well now. So.
Well, we're happy to have you on here tonight, CB, and we're happy to have all you guys on as well. So thank you so much for tuning in. We got a lot to go over. I mean, we had some great football games on Sunday. I mean, if you want to talk about entertaining games that have lived up to all the hype, I don't think you could have gotten anything better than what we got on Sunday. So we're going to talk about the games. We're going to kind of go in depth about them. Certain things that kind of came out of those games, certain things that could possibly affect the NFC North going forward. And there's something that is going to affect the NFC North going forward that we got news yesterday. So we're going to dive into that a little bit. We got the Pro Bowl this Sunday. Mixed feelings about that. I've had a lot. We were kind of talking about that before we jumped on here, CB, about the Pro Bowl and our feelings about that. So we're going to kind of dive into that. But we're going to do a little bit of a different approach, though. We're going to dive in and kind of look at some of our past Bears players because there was a couple of years that stood out to me that when I look back and I was kind of doing some of the research for the show, I'm like, that's kind of interesting. The couple of years, there was something that struck me that was interesting. So we're going to get into that. And we're going to talk about a little bit about the new Bears coaches because since the last time we've been together here, CB, they've made some hires of some coaches. One of them that kind of caught me off guard a little bit that I did not think was going to happen. So we're going to go over that with that, and then possibility of a little bit of Cubs as well, because we're going into February, and that's going to start happening here. Now that we're going into February, spring training is not that far off, and we're going to start getting a little bit of baseball. And I'm kind of, and maybe you guys are out there too. You guys can leave us comments in the comments section, kind of give us your opinion. But I think, especially as we get closer to the Super Bowl, and then once it's done, I'm starting to get the baseball vibes a little bit more. And I'm kind of ready for that. And I think I've been kind of ready for that now since the Bears season has ended, even though I've loved everything we've watched in the playoffs so far. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So thanks to everybody watching. Make sure you like and subscribe us on our YouTube channel. And if you're watching here on the Chicago Sports Podcast on our Facebook page, thank you very much. So CB, over the weekend on Sunday, boy, did we have some games, man, some championship games. The first one I thought was really interesting between the Chiefs and the Ravens. And the Ravens, to me, in the AFC, they were the most dominant team the entire year. There was a reason why they were the number one seed. But the way the Chiefs have played the last couple of weeks, the way Patrick Mahomes has played the last couple of weeks, I was a little bit nervous. I was like, maybe this is Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid saying, okay, that was just a regular season. We're going into the playoffs now. Try beating us. And boy, did they ever, because Patrick Mahomes looked good in the first half, but it was really the Chiefs' defense. Now, the Chiefs' defense has been solid all year, and I thought their defense confused Lamar Jackson in that game. And you could just tell. Even from the first half, the first quarter, Lamar Jackson just looked rattled to me. He looked uncomfortable. Even when he was coming out or trying to get out of the pocket, he was just kind of moving around a little bit more. He just didn't feel it. I felt like he didn't have that feeling being in the pocket and trying to find what they wanted to do. So, CB, when you look at that game, what was your overall takeaway when you watched the Chiefs and Ravens from Sunday?
My overall takeaway was
I think we got CB froze here. See,
they went in with the.
There we go. You're coming back a little bit, CB. There you go.
Oh, okay. They looked out of sync. Like they came in with the wrong game plan, and it didn't work. Nothing was working. About the only thing that worked was the Lamar Jackson pass to himself. That was the only thing that worked, and that was
dude. I'm glad you brought that up because that was incredible. Like watching that, like I can't ever remember a time seeing that where it got bad.
There's two, maybe three quarterbacks that could do that. Jackson, Fields, and maybe Russell Wilson still, but I don't know if he has the kind of wheels like he used to.
Well, I think what was remarkable about that play was the ball was batted so high up in the air. So he threw it. It got so high up in the air, and I'm like, where did it go? What's going on? Did somebody get intercepted? And then Lamar just like had that instincts, and he just started running, and all of a sudden he caught it, and I'm like, I got to see this again.
I was waiting for Mike Brown to come and intercept it.
Oh yeah, right. We're waiting for our 2006 memories coming back, man. That was a pretty damn incredible
2001 play. Memories.
2001. Yeah, shoot, that was even further back than that. You know, you talk about the game. You know, you mentioned a little bit about the game plan and the coordinator Monken of the Ravens, who's been really good for them all year. But I was very puzzled about how he went about his game plan because they have a pretty good running game and they only ran the ball 6 times. Like.
Yeah,
they kept throwing, and I felt like the receivers just didn't have the separation. And when you go against a team like the Chiefs, whose defense has been solid all year round, Spagnuolo, he is so good at diving and carving up offenses. I felt like that made it easier for him that they just kept throwing the football, and he was putting those coverages in place where the Ravens receivers couldn't get open, or if they did get open, it was just for like a split second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they basically gave Kansas City that game because they ran 6 times, and with the way the game plan went, Kansas City just played the way they started off. And, I mean, it was a little rocky, but they ended up pulling it out, and we have Kansas City in the Super Bowl again.
Yeah, it's so funny you say that, too, because – we're going to talk about that in a second, why people are happy about Kansas City being in the Super Bowl. But I think at the same time, I didn't think we were going to be able to recreate the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick Patriots magic that we had. I thought that was just once in a lifetime, just because of everything, how the NFL is shaped up right now with the free agency and the draft and coaches coming back and forth, coaches getting promoted everywhere. Like there's so much turnover in the NFL all the time. And here we are with the Chiefs. Andy Reid has done a phenomenal job. He's got the right coaches in place. Patrick Mahomes. It doesn't matter who Patrick Mahomes has around him. He's going to make people good. They're going to put players in the right place. And now we're looking at
unless they played the Lions, they didn't look that great against the Lions earlier in the season.
And that's kind of like back to what I said in the beginning of the show is that I feel like the Chiefs are like, okay, that was just the regular season. We got in. Now this is where we shine, and this is where we step it up. And I kind of feel
it seemed like Travis Kelce kind of stepped up his game too.
Travis Kelce was great that game. Travis Kelce was great. And not only was he great, but I think Marquez Valdez-Scantling was pretty good.
Yep.
Actually, I think he's been pretty good the last couple of games with big catches. Rice was really good. Pacheco's a good running back. So they got players, they got weapons. And here they are. They're going back to the Super Bowl. And
look at that, another late round pick, Pacheco.
Yes, and they draft very well. This is to what I was saying about the Chiefs this year. Their defense has been shining all year round. Their defense had that playmakers. Christian Jones was in the backfield a couple times. He was hard. They got a great secondary. Heck, Reed, that's one of their safeties. That dude's incredible, man. He was all over the field. And
I mean, you look at the Pro Bowl roster. You see Kansas City and San Francisco all over the place on the Pro Bowl roster, and it's just insane.
And it's kind of goes back because those teams draft very well too. The Chiefs draft very, very well, and they've rebuilt their defense, and their defense looks good. So it was pretty incredible to watch that game. It was close because I do think the Ravens came back. So the Chiefs scored on them, but the Ravens came back. Their defense shut them down. Their defense was great that game. And the defense was all over the field. They played the way they played the entire year, but the Ravens just could not get into that rhythm. And Lamar Jackson, the MVP year that he's had, and granted, back to the offensive game plan, to what we were just talking about, CB, I don't think the game plan was great, especially when you're not running the ball a lot and you're going against a team like that. But Lamar Jackson just looked rattled, and he just
they made him one-dimensional, and they kept him in the pocket more than he should have been, and it didn't work for them.
No, it did not. Sorry. Zay Flowers had that fumble in the end zone. I got to say, that was a great play by the Chiefs. I mean, that was a phenomenal play to punch the peanut punch out. That was a great play, man. Yeah. That was a great play, but
and then the interception by Jackson, he threw that interception too.
But yeah, in the triple coverage, that was a horrible throw, and he was not the player he was all year of that game.
I think he was just trying too hard to make something happen and try to be heroic, and it didn't work.
And I think that's where the experience comes in too, because then the Chiefs are like, no, we've been here before, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to control this game. We're going to play it on how we want to do it. And I think that's ultimately what happened with that game. So here we are, the Chiefs going back. I would say I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised because it's the Kansas City Chiefs. But it was a very entertaining game. Thought it was a great way. I was like, man, I hope the second game is like this. And boy, did that deliver. The second game delivered, man, between the Lions and the 49ers, because the Lions came out so strong.
Yes,
in that
Gerald,
game.
The referees were not that great on either game. That's a good point.
Yeah, let's go back to that. I agree with that, but you know what though? And I'm not going to sit here and defend it, but the referees have been bad all year in the NFL. I mean, we can pinpoint games through like week 17 and into the playoffs where about calls and what's a call, what should not be a call, what's pass interference, what's not pass interference. We've been debating this all year round, so I kind of feel like this is what you're going to get. And
it seems like that's been the point the last couple seasons.
And it's kind of aggravating, and that's going to be very interesting to see because, and we'll talk about this even more next week because Roger Goodell is going to give the State of the NFL address. He normally does the Super Bowl week, and he'll go in there and start. I'm sure that question is going to be brought up.
Yeah.
So,
hey, there he is.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's going on? How you feeling?
We're good, man. Q, we're happy to have you on here, man. First time on here with us.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me.
Dude,
welcome aboard, bro.
We're happy to have you. You got a cool looking Bears hat, man. I love the look.
Oh, yeah, man. Same, man. You got yours turned around, though. That's pretty okay.
Yeah, man. I just want everybody to see my giant forehead. That's all.
Don't tell me you're starting to look like Peyton Manning.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see you on here, man. So we're talking about guys are joining us, man. We were just about ready to dive into the Lions and the Lions and 49ers from over the weekend and how what a start it was for the Lions. But I kind of compare this game to the first game about the experience and the inexperience of both teams, because the Chiefs, we were just talking about it, the Chiefs kind of held back. They came in, they've been there before, they're going on. And I felt like the 49ers did not panic when the Lions took that lead. Kyle Shanahan, who's been here before, is like, okay, what's going to come out? We're going to come out with a game plan. And sure enough, the 49ers came out in that third quarter with 17 points right away and 27 unanswered points, which has been a long time since I've heard anything like that. So when you look at the game, when you look at the Lions, so we'll start with you, Q. When you first look at that game, man, what's your overall takeaway?
Dan Campbell, Dan Campbell was waiting for, showed up. Cost the Lions the game. My opinion, cost the Lions the game. I understand that he's a risk taker, but what boggled my mind was you didn't go for it, be right for the half when you're right on the goal line, when you could have just put the game away right there. But then in the third quarter, when you're further away from
hey, there's JB.
It's just Dan Campbell and his decision makings. I think he cost the Lions a trip to the Super Bowl.
I'm not going to disagree with you on that too. And to what you're saying, CB, we're going to and we could talk about those fourth down calls. Now, the first one I don't think was so egregious because if you go back and look at that play, Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator, called the right play. The receiver dropped the ball. Like at some point, it's like, dude, catch the ball. I know it wasn't like the best throw, but it was right there in his hands. He had that window. He was open, and that was a first down. And I feel like the momentum completely changed. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that fourth down call. I am. I'm actually like, you know what? Okay. But the second one, okay, now you're getting a little bit greedy, and you have the chance to tie the game and then come back. So I'm starting to wonder if he didn't have faith in his defense or is he was just being that wanting to go for it. So CB, when you look at both of those fourth down calls, what do you think? Kind of what Q was just talking about Dan Campbell and his coaching of that game. Do you think that cost him the game? Do you think either one of those was going to go over well? What about you?
I'm going to make this remark. Dan Campbell is ready to go to Vegas because he was too busy gambling. But, yeah, I mean, he was playing with fire when he went the second time, but kick the field goal, take the points, and live to fight another down. You know, come back and try to score again on the next drive that you had the ball, but it was just poor management. And I'll say this: Brock Purdy put the game on his shoulders, and he every time he had no receiver open, he took off with the ball, and I mean that's what won the game for him.
Yeah, Brock Purdy came up pretty big. Those run plays, and boy, when you watch the 49ers, I got to say this, and sometimes I forget when McCaffrey is healthy, when Deebo Samuel is healthy. Those are game-changing players, man. Those guys can dictate. And you got Kyle Shanahan. I said his dad's name. You got Kyle Shanahan as a play caller who is a very good play caller and puts players in the right position. That's why you look at a guy like Brock Purdy who can go out there and run the offense the way he does. But when you got guys like McCaffrey that runs the way he does, and then you got Samuel who could put him out as a receiver, put him out as in the backfield, and put him all over the place, man, that makes that offense fly. And they did that in the second half, and I thought Purdy did a very good job. And just overall, such a fun game to watch. JB, well, first off, man, we're happy to have you here, dude.
Sorry about that. I should have let you know I was going to be late and did not do that. I apologize.
You know, man, I was about to sit here to write you up here and just send it over to management, but I ran out of paper, and
I wouldn't blame you.
I couldn't open up another Microsoft Word document to do that, so we're going to let it slide this time.
Oh my God, I'm so grateful. You have no idea.
So JV, watching the game, we're talking about the 49ers and the Lions game over the weekend. We were talking a little bit about last week how we were all cheering for the Lions, and then the meltdown in the second half for the Lions.
Couldn't believe it.
What was your takeaway? Was there something that the Lions outside of the fourth? So I think we could all agree those are really risky fourth down calls between Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
But if there's something else that you can look at in that game, like for me, example, I think the Lions secondary has been exposed here for the last couple of weeks in the playoffs. I don't think the secondary was. I feel like they attacked that, and they rightfully so because they had a very poor game. But is there something else that you have a takeaway that you think the Lions cost the Lions the game?
Yeah, honestly, this was just a magnificent study in the
Hi, David.
the power of momentum in sports, and I'll tell you when they were down whatever it was inside the 5, and chose not to make it a 3-score lead, and chose to go for it and missed badly and came away with no points. You just don't come away with no points in that game. You can't. And I think literally they had the game still well in hand. And I just remember sitting there watching it, and this I wasn't there. I'm not a player, but sitting in my buddy's basement, this pall just fell over me, and I'm like, that was a bigger mistake than they think. That was a much bigger mistake than they think. You have to, when you have that kind of momentum and you got a guy by the shoulder pads and you're railroading him into the ground, you have to keep going. You have to always come away with the advantage with some kind of a win every single play, every single drive, everything. Because San Francisco's too good.
Yeah.
You don't give them that kind of, hope. You don't give them that kind of hope. And San Francisco was getting blown apart until then. And it was that not going for the field goal, going all the way down the field, no points. And I'm like, that it just struck me.
It's back to the same point that Coop made. Experience. San Francisco's been here before, just like Kansas City. They didn't give up, and they didn't let Detroit score another time. So
yeah, I mean, I had echoes of Brady's comeback against the Falcons, ringing in my head, where he's just walking around on the sidelines going, "No problem, we got it. No problem, we got it."
And that second half, I feel like Detroit went away from the running game. They should have. Mm-hmm. They was gashing with Montgomery. They went away from that. Got a little pass happy, and San Fran read it, and they was just sicking the dogs on it from there. They definitely went away from the run game. They was gashing them.
And I thought they could have done a little bit more with Gibbs in the second half too. Yeah. But some little bit more of those plays where you can get him on the outside and get him his speed going, where they can't catch up to him because he's such a dynamic player. So I think there's a lot of things. And for people to say like, "Oh no, experience matters in the playoffs, man." Like experience matters, man. Like you want to be there. It's such a different world in any sport when it comes to the playoffs.
Well, I was just going to say, experience matters for two reasons. It matters for understanding fully as a team situational football, understanding what does this particular thing mean, and experience also matters with coaching decisions.
That's what I was about to say.
And
making adjustments,
a level head, and at no point did San Francisco, as badly as they were getting bludgeoned in the first half,
they didn't panic.
Yeah, exactly.
No, they did not.
At no point did you see anybody on the sideline having a high-speed come apart. Everybody was cool. Everybody had each other's back. Everything was calm. And I thought, man, if Detroit slips once, this is gonna just go wrong.
Wasn't it Dan Campbell who was saying that he was calling CJ Gardner out for talking so much trash because they got too cocky and it didn't end out in their favor. So,
well, it's going to be an interesting offseason because I think Detroit's going to be right back there next year. I do think they're going to need to fix their secondary in the offseason, but boy, their general manager knows how to draft, so I'm not going to put it past him for trying to find some players to plug in to be even better next year. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with them. And we're excited here for 49ers and Chiefs coming up here in just a couple of weeks. And you can get yourself ready for that because our fantasy sports partner of the Chicago Sports Podcast is Underdog Fantasy. So you can enter the CSP promo code when you sign in at underdogfantasy.com. You will receive a 100% deposit match up to $100 when you use that sign-in code. So get 5 picks right, and you'll multiply your money 20 times. Simple, fast, and you're going to have fun. Underdog Fantasy, the official gaming partner of Chicago Sports Podcast and the voice of the Chicago sports fan.
Dan Campbell not allowed.
Yeah, Dan Campbell's already been visiting a couple times looking for next year.
Yeah. Me personally, I think Dan Campbell's going to always get in the way of Detroit reaching that level that they want to reach.
Well, I think what's happened now that kind of surprised me is Ben Johnson's coming back with them, and I think that sucks. I really thought he was gone. I thought the offensive coordinator was going to get a head coaching job somewhere, and sure enough, he's coming back. So with him coming back, boy, I'm not going to – for all those players like Goff and Montgomery and Gibbs and St. Brown to be in that offense for another year, I think it's just going to be better. I was hoping he'd go somewhere and then he'd have to go to another offense.
On the flip side, he takes the risk of the Lions not matching what they did this year because
Right.
the Bears are going to be Bears are going to be better. I hate to say it, Packers and Minnesota. I don't know, but he's taking a risk. He's taking a risk.
I still think the Packers outperformed this year.
Me too.
I think the Vikings will remain irrelevant. The Bears will improve greatly. And to your point, I'm not sure Dan Campbell will keep them out, but I think this next year we're going to learn a lot about Dan Campbell. If he can learn, oh my gosh, they're going to be dangerous for another
situational
5 years.
Football, man. Come on.
I don't think he's going to learn. He already said that's him.
Exactly. But what you pipe into the microphones in order to, keep your swagger and all that, and what goes on in here are two different things. And if he next year just tweaks those nuances a bit where he can apply that gambler mentality where it's needed and still keep the momentum going, they're going to be tough. They're going to be very tough.
I think what you bring up, back to what I was bringing up about the Lions, the Packers as well. Both of those teams draft very well. So if the Packers did it this year, we went over when the Packers beat the Bears that last game of the year. I remember we came on the show the week after, and I came up their draft list of last year. And they had 4 of their 5 round of draft picks perform at a high level for that team this year. Mm-hmm. So if those teams continue to draft the way they draft, they're going to be competitive every year because they're just going to keep getting better. So I feel like it's going to be interesting how it plays out and where they go from here. And it's going to be an interesting offseason just for the entire NFC North. And we're excited to see what happens. We're also excited for, I'm not going to say I'm excited. The Pro Bowl is on Sunday. I got to be honest.
Game?
Two-hand touch league.
Two-hand touch football. And I give them credit for trying to do different things with trying to put the skills. I think they're just trying to take from what they were doing in the NBA with the three-point contest, like they're trying to do with the skills competition. I like that they have both Manning brothers. I do like both Manning brothers, by the way. I think they're both kind of entertaining people. I like their show, that their other alternative on Monday Night Football. So I like that they're both coaches of the teams. But at the same time, am I going to sit there on a Sunday afternoon and watch that, or am I more intrigued to watch something else? I probably will be more intrigued to watch something else. But I found it interesting because we pulled up our awesome produced couple of our awesome guy, Brandon Trax, who runs everything here on Monsters of the Madhouse, a Chicago sports podcast, which, by the way, you guys could like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, on our YouTube page. But we went back and looked at some of the past Bears in the Pro Bowl. And there's a couple of years that really stood out to me. Now, every year you're going to have like your stars, but the first one obviously was when you go back to 2006, 2007, because 2007, they had quite a few Pro Bowlers. They had Reuben Brown, Brandon Amadeo, which I forgot about him. I'm like, he was a great player, man. I loved watching him play. Robbie Gould, Lance Briggs, Brian Urlacher. Remember that 2007? After the year they came back after the Super Bowl, we thought they were going to be a better team that year. They were still a good team that year. They just weren't what it was the year before. But how about this? On our Bears teams where we always talk about the wide receivers, where wide receivers go to die, 2014, we had 2, Alshon Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall together that year in the Pro Bowl. And I had to get to think about that for a second. I'm like, why was our team not better than what they should have been that year? And
we self-destructed.
Exactly. We self-destructed. And then Mel, we go back and
did we run into Green Bay?
No, it was Mel Tucker and that horrible defense.
And we gave up a lot of points that year. I remember that. But it's like, but I was like, boy, two wide receivers in the same year on our team in the Pro Bowl. Other notables, I mean, we had Kyle Long in 2016, Peanut Tillman a couple of times. 2013 was the last one that he was there. And then how about when you go back to 2002 with the Ted Washington, James Big Cat Williams, Olin Kreutz into that. So I'll start with you, Q, man. Is there any Bears players that stand out to you when you look at the past Pro Bowls? We could go back as many years as you want, man. I just went back over the last 20 years, but if you want to go back to the early 90s, I'm cool with that too.
Well, for me, my younger years, it was Neil Anderson. Like, probably my favorite, besides Walter, Neil Anderson is my favorite Chicago Bear after Walter. It was just that's when I really started learning football. Neil Anderson was a dog for he got burnt out and retired a little bit early, but Neil Anderson because it was all the time, even with injuries. So it's Neil Anderson, of course. Mark Carrier, his rookie season was amazing. 10 interceptions. It's a lot. It's a lot.
1991 Mark Carrier in the Pro Bowl, by the way.
Yeah.
I like you said Neil Anderson because I always feel like he was a little underrated as a running back. I was also a big fan of his as well. So CB, when we go back, another player that comes to my mind, 1990, Mike Singletary was in the Pro Bowl. He was now to kind of what you said, Q. When you start thinking of some of your favorite players, when you go back a long time, for me that would be Mike Singletary. CB, as you're in your beautiful hotel in Aurora, Illinois tonight. What do you think about some of your favorite Pro Bowlers that were on the Bears? What do you think?
I think back, and I wish he had more. Matt Forte, Johnny Knox. I wish he would have had the opportunity to be in a couple Pro Bowls, but
he was in one. He was in 2010, I believe. Johnny Knox.
Yeah.
But his injury. He had that horrific injury, if you remember.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a play to this day I can't even watch again. The way he went down.
Yeah, me neither.
Same with Jordan Howard. I mean, over the year, that one time that he had a Pro Bowl. Looking over my stuff, Lance Briggs, Urlacher, those are two of my favorite ones. Mongo, gotta mention him. But Walter, obviously.
And JB, I know the diehard Bears fan, and you, man, same thing, man. We a lot of us go back, man. When we start thinking about some of our favorite players, who's the first person that comes to your mind?
Well, just to make sure that the comment section explodes and Brandon gets a lot of gets a lot of interaction.
So you're gonna say Jay Hilgenbrand?
I'm gonna definitely put a plug in from one of our greatest Pro Bowlers ever, Mitch Trubisky.
Oh, I knew it.
Man, you're gonna explode.
I'm kidding. I'm a kid.
Hey, you're gonna get blocked this time.
I kid. I'm a kidder. It's what I do. Anyway.
I kid.
But there's sure enough there's going to be somebody take it seriously, go absolutely
the
comments, and I think that's going to be fun. So, but no, you have to, and I mentioned him actually when we were talking about drafts last week. You got to look at the leadership and the just the attitude and the power and the gravitas of an Olin Kreutz. I mean, that guy, you talk about setting the tone, and if somebody is not all together during the game, I mean, he's the kind of guy to grab you by the shoulder pads and and be like, dude, snap back into it. We need you. And he didn't let anybody around him not be tough. I saw obviously, I mean, I gotta echo Singletary. I mean, he's the reason I'm a Baylor Bear. So, he's my guy. I mean, 10 Pro Bowls, my God, it's unbelievable. Probably, the guy that I think
I can't see your comment, but that was a good comment. Haven't had a good center since him.
That's very true.
Seriously,
that's true.
I think
Roberto was decent.
It makes a difference.
Yeah, Roberto. I mean, he slid into that great.
Yeah, but he made.
Then we go to Horonis Grasu and it just went.
Just a little drop off.
Garza was great, but he made his money as a guard. He didn't make his money as a center. Yeah. He could play center, but he wasn't the center. But I remember, hearing the announcement. I'm old enough to remember the announcement when Walter was drafted. So, when I look back at
quit showing your age, JB.
right? It's hard to not look back at the '85 team because they just suck all the oxygen out of the room in a historical Bears discussion because they were so over the top dominant. But
Yep.
I think a guy honestly who really changed the way Chicago was perceived
Butt kiss.
defensively. Well, yeah, no,
Before my time.
but more recently, our safety Mike Brown.
Yeah, he's a great player.
I mean,
man.
that
player.
stretch where he had 2 overtime interceptions, pick sixes to win
We
the
were
game.
just talking about that.
Yeah,
2001.
Yep.
I got to tell you what, you can dig around in the annals of history a long time and not find something that cool. That was pretty fun.
That was a hell of a comeback in the fourth quarter.
The shame injuries got in the way with him, man.
Yeah,
It did, and it slowed him up.
He was definitely going to. He was on the path to go to Hall of Fame, in my opinion. He was
but you got to ruffle something, my guy. You know,
is that a Mitch Trubisky jersey? Oh no, I'm sorry. I thought it was
it is.
It's another 10. It was Chase Claypool.
Actually, boy, if I want to hear my girlfriend slam the door shut, my Pittsburgh Steelers girlfriend over here with Chase Claypool and Mitch Trubisky that you guys are saying in here, that door's gonna get shut pretty quick.
Is that what that big boom was?
Hey, how about another one? Cordell Stewart.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
So yeah. So some of those
The famous duck throw.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for watching this Chicago Sports Podcast tonight on our YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. And you guys can watch some of our other shows as well, as we have other shows during the week. Chicago Sports Podcast on Facebook. So you can check that out as well. You can watch shows, check out shows there, and read some of our articles.
I want to give a shout out to the guys on Monday night. They did a great job on that show.
On the Bulls show, man. Yes. That's what I'm saying is to what CB just said. There's different shows that you guys can check out all during the week. Cleet Campbell, our guy Cleet Campbell, who is also part of our team, writes awesome articles. He just wrote one about the Bulls as the trade deadline comes up here on February 8th and talking about what are the Bulls going to do, what are they not going to do. So I encourage you guys to go check that out because his articles are awesome. I also encourage you guys to check out El Bandito Yankee, as that is Chris Chelios's revolutionary, brand new, smooth core, additive-free, 100% blue agave ultra premium tequila, which has changed the game for tequila. It is your thirst-quenching taste. So get your El Bandito Yankee tequila. Get it at elbanditoyankee.com. And you can just check that out. Get that ready here for as we get ready here for the game here in just a couple of weeks. It'd be perfect for your party. You can go get that right now. Have your friends come by. You can do shots, and then you can do shots through the game and do a shot every time you see Taylor Swift on TV, which I'm guessing if she makes it there,
the whole bottle would be gone by then.
Because she does have a show in Japan the day before. I'm wondering how that's going. I still think she's going to make it for the game because I think she's going to have plenty of time. Speaking of that,
if she missed a publicity opportunity like the Super Bowl, I would jump off a cliff. There's no way she's missing that.
No, she is.
No, we didn't talk about Devin Hester, but I was going to mention him about Pro Bowls too. He deserves it more than anyone.
Yeah, Devin Hester. The year I'm
2007.
I think it's 2007. Devin Hester. Or was it 2000? I can't remember the exact year.
Rookie season when the Bears went to the Super Bowl. He went.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, yes. Devin Hester, who is a dynamic player, one of the most dynamic players I've watched in my lifetime as a Bears fan.
He could hit third gear like that, dude. It was, man.
Yeah, 2006. Scary. That's right. Thank you, Ray G. Yeah, to cue the same thing, 2006. So. When we look back, so we're going to be watching this weekend. We got 2 Pro Bowlers, Jalen Johnson and Montez Sweat are going to be there. So you guys can check that out with the Pro Bowl or not check out the Pro Bowl. But either way, even if you don't check out the Pro Bowl, if you go on X or Twitter, you're going to be seeing videos and stuff posted everywhere about what's going on during the game. So I am kind of interested to see the of the day before with the challenges and the different competitions again and how that's going to play out.
I want to see the commercials.
But other than that, I'm like, you know what, guys? I'm just ready for the game. I'm ready for 49ers and Chiefs. I bring that on now, man. That's what we all want to watch. That's what we're all waiting for. So, we're excited for that. I want to get your guys' opinion on this as we continue on with our football talk because I have to bring up the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift. And here's why I bring it up. And I want to get your guys' opinion because as I'm sitting here watching the game, my girlfriend and I watching the game last week. Now, my girlfriend is not, she's a diehard football fan. She's a diehard Steeler fan. So she watches every game, knows all the players, knows everybody in the division, football players from all over the place. So she's not just like your ordinary football fan. She's like diehards like us. However, she was there all into every single thing Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. When Travis Kelce caught a pass, she was looking to see, please show Taylor Swift on the TV, please show Taylor Swift, and then texting her friends. But not only so she's watching the game, and then her friends who are not so much football fans are also going back and forth. They're also watching the games because of that. So this whole phenomena, whether you like it or not, it's triggering off a whole bunch of other people out there that are watching this game because of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
I'm going to see so many Kansas City jerseys out there now.
Now, my girlfriend a little bit biased too because she hates the Ravens, so she cheers against the Ravens every time. But I'll start with you, Q. When you watch that too, what comes through your mind when you see the Travis Kelce and you see the Taylor Swift up there? Do you think that's good for the NFL? Kind of like what my point was about my girlfriend and her friends just kind of going back and forth, or do you think it's a little too much?
It's good for the NFL, but it's too much for me. I'm tired of it. Every good play, they just zoom to her. Like, come on. I got the Taylor Swift thing popping up on my iPhone, my Apple Watch. I don't need this, man. It's good business for the NFL though, but it's not good for me, man. It's
not good for our mental health, right?
every big play.
There's two things. Now that we have Taylor Swift, I was already sick of Brittany Mahomes. You put them together now, and
that's why I kind of feel like they go to Jason Kelce, which I love the fact that they show him before the game, like with the Bills Mafia, like tailgating, which I thought that was cool. But it's like maybe we put Jason in there now to kind of give a distraction away from everything else that's going on in that booth whenever Travis scores a touchdown.
Well, he sure was a distraction.
Oh, he was hammered too.
Yes, he was.
Did you see he might be coming back next year?
They literally.
Q, we can't hear you, Q. Oh, there you go.
You're trying. They got
with the heart.
We got his brother. We got his
internet connection.
Yep, Q, we're losing you. Q, we can't hear you, man. We're losing you. We can't get you on, man. So we'll get back to him in just a second when his connection gets a little bit better.
They got his brother that's been quiet this year. They got his Patrick Mahomes' wife, and now this Taylor Swift stuff, man. What Patrick Mahomes' brother? He's been quiet this year, but he was annoying.
Oh yeah, Jackson Mahomes. Yeah, we haven't heard much from him this year.
Well,
at all.
Kind of what he was talking about when it comes to overload on that. Do you think? I actually think they did a pretty good job of when compared to when we first saw her, like they would pan up to her like nonstop. I don't think it was as much the last couple of weeks. I feel like she was up there just a couple of more times. So JB, same thing. When you look at that, when you look at this game, how big of an impact do you think that's going to be for the game against the 49ers if she is there? Because let's face it, the Super Bowl is about a party. A lot of people everybody's going to get together and hang out with your friends and family. But I think this could be even more if she's involved.
I 100% agree. And when you get to especially into the playoffs, and as the playoffs escalate, it is about the party, bro. It's about the party. It doesn't bother me at all that they show her and I'll tell you why. For one, like you say, you're getting a ton more NFL viewership than you would have ever before because she's got an undeniable youth demographic sway. So you've got all these people that are getting sucked into watching football. Maybe some of them actually will like it, which is cool. The other thing is, if you looked at the last game, just to your point, Coop, on a 3.5 hour presentation, they probably showed her for a grand total of less than 60 seconds. Okay, I can stomach that. I don't care what you're showing me. And the other thing is, you're going to show crowd shots anyway. So you're you're going to tell me that somebody that famous is there and you're not going to show them? If Mick Jagger was there, they would show him. Okay. If Oprah Winfrey was there, they would show her. You know, I mean, it's kind of one of these things where it doesn't matter where who the person is, you know, but the fact that she's tied to a player is more intriguing. There's a storyline there. Plus, I also honestly give it some justification because Kelsey is really, really, really good. If you know, if Taylor Swift was there and her boyfriend was riding the pine and they kept milking it, going, you know, oh, Taylor Swift's here, Taylor Swift's here. But the thing is, they keep showing her because when they're showing her, it's because Kelsey just balled out again, you know, and the guy is absolutely one of the best to play the position in today's game. Not ever, but he's pretty good. And he's one of the best in today's game. And so if that's who she's tied to, then okay, I don't have a problem with it. You're going to show crowd shots anyway. You know, that's part of the broadcast experience. So, you know what? If they show her and she's excited and it brings joy and it's part of the party and it brings new viewership to the NFL and the boyfriend is actually balling out, he's not just a doorknob. Okay, cool. Whatever. You know, it doesn't bother me nearly to the point where people are seething and drooling over it online. They're going crazy, and it doesn't bother me that much.
Well, to what Ray G said, thank for everybody that's putting us talking to us in the comment sections tonight. To what Ray G said, he goes, "It's not a game; it's an event," which is an event because it's so. When I just bring up Taylor Swift, but what I didn't even mention yet is Reba McEntire, who is going to be singing the national anthem, and then Usher's performing the halftime show. So. You want to talk about superstars that are going to be part of the game that day, on top of Taylor Swift possibly being there and the other superstars that are going to be at this game. It's going to be a huge event. It's going to be a part. I love Super Bowl Sunday because I feel like that's the one day where you can just eat and drink whatever the heck you want. And I know I certainly will. I know you guys certainly will. Everybody else out there that's watching right now certainly will. No, JB, you're not watching the game. I'm talking about CB and Q and I. We're going to be watching.
I'm gonna be doing my needlepoint in the other room.
Yeah, you're gonna be knitting, right?
That's right.
So it's gonna be fun. So we're gonna talk about that next week. We got a lot of time. We're gonna talk about the game a little bit more next week, break it down a little bit more, and kind of get into it because I think it's going to be a very intriguing game. And I think this is a game the 49ers can absolutely win, but I'm not going to give any predictions just yet what we think is going to happen. Thanks to everybody watching tonight for Monsters of the Madhouse and the Chicago Sports Podcast on our YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. You can on Twitter as well, and also on our Facebook page. Check out some of the other shows as well. Some of the other shows during the week. We got Pinky coming up tomorrow night. You guys can check that out on all of these platforms. So make sure our buddy Pink, who is also watching the show tonight, Pinky, I hope you're doing good, man. Thank you for watching as well. Guys, before we end tonight, the Bears did fill out their coaching tree. Back to the Bears here for a second because they made a couple of coaching moves that I think are going to really help. I really like Kerry Joseph. I've heard a lot of over the last couple of years. He's coming from Seattle. But what really got me like, whoa, I can't believe they got him was Thomas Brown, the coordinator for the Panthers last year. Now, the Panthers were a mess. Let's just be honest. Panthers were a mess. Yeah, they had Frank Reich calling games. They had Thomas Brown calling games. They had Frank Reich calling games. Frank Reich gets fired. Like, it was just like a no-win situation whatsoever. But he was very highly coveted. He was interviewing for offensive coordinator positions everywhere. So he's going to be our passing game coordinator. And then Eric Washington coming over from the Bills as our D coordinator and our defensive line coach. So, Q, I'm going to start with you, man. When you look at some of our coaches that we've put out here now the last couple days, the last week or so, is there anyone that stands out to you, the one that you think could really help us improve and take us up to another level?
The wide receiver coach. That
Chris Beatty, I forgot to mention him too.
Yes. The fact that he's already coached DJ Moore
in Maryland,
college. So DJ Moore is already already sold on him. So that's going to help him with the other receivers because he's basically developed CJ Moore to your position coordinator spends more time with the players than the OC, than the DC. It's the position coaches that's with that group more than anybody else. So I love that hire right there, man. I love that hire.
Yeah, a big fan of that hire. CB, I'm looking at Facebook user right
That's a
now,
great one
and
for me.
he brings up a good point, because this is what I was going to lead into, talking about our new coaches. And does this feel like this is leading and bringing in a rookie quarterback with all of our coaching changes, with our new QB coach, our new offensive coordinator, CB into the draft, Justin Fields? Or do you think this maybe leans towards, hey, let's start over and grab that guy that we're looking for to be that franchise quarterback?
Well, I mean, I've already expressed it. We should keep Fields, but I mean, why not draft Caleb Williams? I've already been back and forth about it. Take on his 5th-year option. If he shines, he shines. But, I mean, with all the coaches that have been hired, I like Beatty. I like Washington because he was already on our staff in 2020. And I forget who it was that said something about he was glad that he came back to the Bears. But with all these new coaches coming in, who knows? I mean, nobody can predict the future. But in my eyes, I would keep Justin, build around him with multiple picks. But I'm not Ryan Poles. I don't make that decision. So
And that's why I'm glad I'm not the general manager, because I would be lost and like, what do I do here? But JV, I like what CB kind of brought up when he said Eric Washington's name.
Yeah,
Because, Eric Washington coming back, he was once here with the Bears, and if you listen to what some of the player, like I forgot which player I was reading from the Bills, but they rave about him, especially as a D-line coach too.
well,
and you got him coming here to work with Matt Eberflus on a defense that was already thriving at the end of the season last year.
yeah, a lot of it had gelled, near the end. What I'm hoping is that the two of them don't have differing defensive philosophies and create confusion and hesitation amongst the players. If they can coordinate and be of one mind, and the success Eberflus was having over the last, I want to say maybe 6 out of the last 7 games. Green Bay was a train wreck, of course, but if that success can continue under a new coordinator, and Eberflus's influence there is not contradictory, then I think you're going to see continued progression with added talent through the draft and free agency as well. So the fact that they kept Eberflus still makes me sweaty, because, I mean, seriously. So I'm glad we got good coordinators. It seems like they're rounding out their staffs real well. But how much of the colossal failure of the past 3 years has been Eberflus, and is that going to still be the fly in the soup? Or we're all of his coaches just happen to be horrible hires, and now they got it right and everything's going to be fine. Oh, I don't know. So like I said, I'm hoping that, all these new coaches that are coming in, this fresh blood and everything, for one, there's continuity with what's good, and for two, that any poison that Eberflus had poured in the batter doesn't continue.
Well, I think that's what happens when you have a coach going into a year like this, that where you hear the rumors, is he coming back, is he not coming back? Okay, well, it was the offensive coordinators, so we're going to bring a new offensive staff in, and now you got the new offensive staff. Are they going to work well with this coach? What's going to happen? Will they gel? So what's going to happen is they're either going to gel, they're going to win games, or it's not going to work, and the whole coaching staff, everybody's going to be gone. So
Right.
I think that's just how the NFL works. And you see Luke Getsy, by the way, when we talk about Luke Getsy, this guy's getting interviews all over the league right now to be an offensive coordinator. And I think he's going to be an offensive coordinator. And so it makes me wonder, because he's going to the Raiders and the Saints, I'm reading, like, well, he's very highly respected around the league. So a lot of teams think of that highly with him.
The
It makes me quite.
We're frothing at the mouth over this guy, and I don't understand it.
Well, I think he's going to get interviews because for the last 2 years, the Bears' running game was 1 and 2 in the league, and then his work with, even though Aaron Rodgers doesn't need coaching, his work with Aaron Rodgers and stuff like that. But that's why he's getting interviews. I don't see him being the OC this year at all.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say about. That's what I was going to say about going down to New Orleans, because he'll work with Drew Brees, or not Drew Brees. Derek Carr.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. When I keep reading about him getting interviews everywhere, he's got that respect around the league. So I'm interested to see how it pops out. But it'll be either. I think it's going to either way. Like I just said, it's going to go the wrong way, where the entire coaching staff's going to go blow on. Or if it works, Thomas Brown's going to be an offensive coordinator somewhere. Joseph's going to be an offensive coordinator. Like these coaches that are coming in this year are going to be offensive coordinators next year.
Yeah.
So it's going to be one big cycle. It'll be fun to see.
Right. It's either going to work or we're going to be again the stepping stone.
Or we're going to be talking after week 17, wondering what's going to happen in the NFC North and what we're going to be doing in the draft, like we're doing right now, like we do every year.
Boom.
The one thing I was gonna mention is with Washington coming back from Buffalo, he's reuniting with Edmonds. So we'll see how that works.
Oh,
yes.
Yes, he will.
I do like that.
Good point.
And I love everything about that hire. I just do, man. He's so well respected around the league. So I think that really helps.
And Shane Waldron brought in his running backs coach too. From Seattle.
That was Morton, right? That just happened, I think it just happened that Morton was coming in. So he's bringing a lot of his coaches with him from the Seattle Seahawks. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out, guys. Thank you all so much for watching us tonight on the Monsters of the Madhouse Chicago Sports Podcast YouTube channel. Like and subscribe to that. On our Facebook page, you guys can check out this show and other shows that happen throughout the week. We got Pinky coming up tomorrow night, so make sure you guys check out that because he's always a lot of fun. And the whole Pinky crew is also fun to watch, talking about Chicago sports. And
they need to get jackets made.
They need jackets, man. They need like a
Pinky's crew.
Tracks, make that happen, man. And then we'll all get matching. We're gonna all get matching hats that say number 10 on them for Mitch Trubisky for our group.
Right.
To bring back memories.
How you get fired on your day off?
Hey guys, thanks to TC World of Wonders, guys. If you're looking for a jersey right now, perfect time to do it as we get ready here for baseball season. You can get your baseball jersey, you can get your Bulls, whatever jersey you want to get. You can do that at tcworldofwonders.com. Budget Cars, as JB is holding his up, his looks beautiful. Breaking down in the wintertime right now, you need a safe, reliable vehicle. So you guys can check out Budget Cars. That is in Michigan City, Indiana. Dustin Johnson's team will get you on the road in affordable style. That is 3 generations of friends and family serving Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana since 1972. You can call them at 219-874-5180 or 219-873-3988 to get back on the road today. Our friends at Serendipity Ice Cream Parlor. Go grab yourself some ice cream. It's never too cold for ice cream. We all love ice cream, and there's no better place than Serendipity Ice Cream Parlor. Check that out, 120 North Griffith Boulevard in Griffith, Indiana. And Bridges Scoreboard as well. We cannot forget about our friends at Bridges Scoreboard, Northwest Indiana Chicago Sports Headquarters, the Hall of Fame menu. Their food selection is awesome. The games, they have them all there for you at 121 on Griffith Boulevard in Indiana as well. You can make your reservations 219-924-2206 or go to bridgesscoreboard.com. I want to thank our crew tonight. First off, thanks to everybody commenting in the chat room. We appreciate you all so very much.
Much love.
Thank you, Ray G, Pinky, Cheryl, everybody else that has commented in our section today. Debbie as well. The updates from Cheryl about our game. She does such a good job of that. I want to thank JB. It's good to see you, man. Thanks for coming back on tonight.
Such an honor to be here always. Thank you.
We love having you out.
Thanks for showing up late, guys.
We don't even know what I don't even know what you're talking about there. So, Hugh, man, it's the first time we've had you on with us, man. So it's cool to have you jump on with us, dude. That was awesome, man. We hope to have you back on. We hope to have you. Hope you have it back on again with us, man.
Anytime.
And CB, it's always awesome to see what different hotel you're in every week as you pursue your career right now. So
Every few weeks. It's not that often.
but either
Not
way,
until I start work again.
yeah. Either way, man, that coffee and that those mattresses are hit or miss, man. You never know if they're gonna be comfortable. Or they're gonna be like hard like a rock, and you just go into work the next day. I'm like, man, why?
Hey, B Dubs is right next door, so
You
Nice.
go get yourself a drink after work tomorrow, man. Say it's on JB's tab.
Oh yeah,
oh, that's even better.
He's gonna cover you, man. He
I'm gonna
told me
drink the
earlier.
hard stuff this time.
yeah,
He
definitely.
said he said he felt bad coming
El-
on he's a little bit late. He's got you covered for your birthday.
El Bandito.
That's right.
Well,
Sponsored booze.
Yep, we'll be doing shots of that, man. So, guys, Pinky tomorrow night. Catch that show tomorrow night. Catch us everywhere else, guys, on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook page as well. And thank you guys for watching tonight. We will talk to you again next week. Hope you all have an awesome night. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
And we'll talk more about the 49ers and the Super Bowl next week. All right. We'll do it again next week, guys.
Can't wait.
Thank you.